And they're also singers too, from what I understand. You will see that relationship many times over if you look for it, where you'll have the artist, is what they're called, the singer, and they will transverse into using their influence in their songwriting or their music singing, their philosophy, their performance, their flavor, their attitude, their mini sermonette in their singing performance, and that will transverse over to a Hollywood career of some sort. You also see these weird back tie-ins with actors that get into Congress. Trump is an actor. Now he's the president. He's been in tons of movies. You saw it also with Ronald Reagan as well. So you have Masons, and they're in some type of film career of influence, and then they transverse them into public office. Oh, another one, uh, what they ever titled, which still makes me giggle, the Governator. That totally makes me giggle. For those that are not in America, what that means is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm sure you know who he is, he became the governor in a state called California that is just a big giant mess and getting worse. And so they would call him the Governator, which was funny. But anyhow, so those are a couple examples. The reason why that happens is because this is all about manipulating you, brainwashing you, directing agendas, getting you to basically take their ideas and their thoughts and their mental constructs and pulling you along into it. And again, the Bible is so clear in the New Testament. I'm so grateful for the New Testament to tell me that there's a kingdom of darkness and sons of darkness, children of darkness that are slaves, and then a kingdom of light and a kingdom of the children of the light, and our God is light. That backdrop of understanding that world system and living in two different, whatever's you want to call them, kingdoms, the Bible calls it, kind of helps to, to orient your brain to understand what you're seeing, and you can clearly categorize and identify in media that the kingdom of Lucifer is this kingdom of darkness, and here are his puppets that he uses. Now, in some of the videos, we've been discussing how they have a soft, sweet, spiritual, good looking group of puppets that are playing to deception. For example, I'm blanking on her name in this moment. I did a video about her, very attractive girl. The point is that people like Kanye West, people, there's so many examples that could be Lovato, Demi Lovato. Thank you, Brain. Thank you, Brain. Demi Lovato and Kanye and just a bunch of other starlets have this very pretty kind of image while they come in to draw you into a false sense of security and draw you into the God of this world. So that's a pretty image, right? But then I want to show you Josh Sparrow's channel kind of got me focused on this Yolandi Visser. And this is Yolandi right here. And so there's a whole nother category of people with this terror pop, this dark, intrigue producing false. I'm just going to use the word cool because I don't know what else to say. Um, Darkened curiosity through these types of people, especially coming from Europe. And I'm not saying Billie Eilish is from Europe, but I'm also noticing, along with Billie Eilish, who, by the way, is a boy pretending to be a girl, but that's another subject for another day. These, like Aurora, we've been doing all kinds of videos on her, which also Josh Sparrow's channel turned me on to that content. And now Yolandi. So these Europeans, these white skin, very beautiful on the exterior, very light blonde hair type of people, they are being used to draw the children and the youth and the older people into this darkness, into this, very demon-esque type of, let me show you, pretty, an ugly pretty, a dark pretty, a satanic pretty is what I'm trying to say. They're using a lot of blood. People have done a lot of artwork involving her, and see the blood dripping. And of course, I don't need to tell you that the darkened eyes, at least in symbology, has to do with demon possession and how that's represented. So you have this whole group of people that are on one side that look all pretty, the Kim Kardashians, the Kanye West, dressed to the nines, or however that expression is, Demi Lovato, and many others, and they're the sort of clean, good-looking image people, right? Like if you walked through your kid's room and you looked over and saw a Kanye album or whatever, you wouldn't think much of it. Well, this would be the other nightmare on the other side. So see, they play both sides, is what I'm trying to tell you. They play both sides. And so Yolandi is one of these entities, and the children love her. They do. They love, I don't know what's up with that. They have her in a variety of photos that are extremely demonic. She is with a goat. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's, ugh. Okay, that just hurts my brain. What is unfortunate, this is just so weird. It's a lot to take in early in the morning, friends. Yolandi has a particular look to her that is extremely attractive to some people. She is a good-looking woman on the outside. On the outside. So we've talked about how evil can be extremely attractive and pretty on the outside. I'm thinking of Ariana Grande, for example. On the outside, very beautiful. Kim Kardashian, very beautiful. Evil can come to you as very, very, very beautiful. You better be careful, though, because it's a beautiful deception. It's a wonderful, beautiful deception that will take you to hell when you let them get into your brain, when you let them preach to you their thoughts and their ideologies through their music, through their interviews, through their persona. And much of this, I'm sure some of this is her, but they've also had handlers come in and figure out how, not handlers, I'm sorry, but stylists. And everybody in Hollywood is like a different flavor of ice cream. So we've all been trained, at least in America, that there's 31 flavors of ice cream. And Bubby, you better just keep on appreciating and taking in that next flavor of ice cream, right? So everything is about you, the consumer, and you, the consumer, must be satisfied. So each time they take one of these entities who on the exterior is quite beautiful, on the exterior, this is another flavor of ice cream in this metaphorical position that I'm trying to explain. I don't know how well I'm explaining it, but I'm trying. Then for this side, they will take these people and they will use this darkened appeal, this very sexualized, darkened, demonic appeal. So Homegirl has, oh, she actually has that. Okay, so that is not the 5-pointed star. That's the 6-pointed star. Israel keeps playing around with that, by the way, Israel and unbelief. And she is drawing the children in with this. They also then put her in a very popular movie. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I do want to look at this weird video. This is just strange. Society is getting back to the point where the book of Judges talked about this. And it said that there came a time when man did whatever was right in his own eyes. That is a good way to put what happened in the garden. We talk about the garden a lot. We talk about where the problem started. This video is not going to be about going into that because so many other videos do. And I will give, little rabbit trail here, I will give Bible Project this, that they are so clear in explaining what happened. I have other problems with them, but suffice it to say, to bring it back around again, this core issue of us, independent from God, divorced from the ruler, at least temporarily until until the son came and offered us rebirth. What happened in the garden is this issue of we're going to decide what's good and evil. right? That's why they ate that fruit of disobedience. You kind of now see after all these thousands of years, especially taking advantage of that idea being presented to you in popular culture and these photos. Boy, if there is a tool between movies, books, television, interviews, photo shoots, et cetera, that really displays this idea of rebellion, this idea that was so promoted heavily in the garden of we're going to do whatever we want. God might be holding out on us and we want to be our own gods. This is what it looks like when they put this in photos. I am a rebel, Yolanda is showing in this picture. I am a demon. I am doing things my way. And this embracing of the darkness is highly destructive to the soil of a child's heart, to there's so much that could be said about this. I just can't even get it all out in one breath. They are flipping society. They are drawing men into this ideology that, you know what, you can do whatever you want. It always goes back to this Crowleyan philosophy that, you do whatever you want. You're God, don't you know? Which is, of course, a lie, and what idolatry is all about. Why God's very first command, it's the first command for a reason, to have no other gods before me. That includes you. You don't get to be a god. And if you are, it's because you're a false god and you're following your father, Satan. Now, she's getting money for this. They put this little goat head thing here. These horns are all about the power of Satan, of Lucifer, and rebellion. So with her hair, they did this stylized weird thing of these horns. Just so you know, she's a demon. She's got to tell you that. Now, they have already introduced her into the culture, and she actually has a movie. Not a movie. Well, she has a movie too, Chappie. But and I'll put a link down below so you can see the trailer yourself, because they push an ideology where, AI robots kind of come alive in a sense, and they have thoughts and feelings. They're the creation of a new breed. Hold on a second. Wow, look at that. Witch witchcraft art painting. See, some people would look at this and say this is quite beautiful. You could really waste a lot of time on Pinterest. I do want to see this. This die ant a word. I'm going to put a link in below too so that you can go check out. Whoa. Weird. Mm. Oh boy. This girl. I'm going to put a link in so you can go check out Josh's video, because he does a really, really, really good job of this. But see, that's so weird. This idea that, oh man, you can do whatever you want and get away with it. Taylor Swift, to go off on a rabbit trail here, she has a video, and we're going to do a video about it in a little bit here, where in one of her songs about false god, she says, and I think she's a boy too, but that's another story. Transapocalypse Now, people, you've got to go visit his channel. She has a line in the song where it says that maybe we can get away with this. That's the thinking of these people, and what was said in the garden, and the intent of why they disobeyed a direct order from God. Maybe we can get away with this. Now, you're not going to find that in Genesis, but when you study the motivation of what man does, that is clearly part of the intent as to why man doesn't self-correct and come back to God. God offers that way to be born again and to get back in union. But what do we do with the people that are in rebellion? Well, in America, we make it an industry and we push it on others, and we make sure that we influence children to be in a state of rebellion so they can't get to God. Then we further use movies like Chappie, where Yolandi and this guy, Ninja is his name. That sounds like a 4-year-old running around, Ninja. And the whole idea is to introduce this other life form that takes over. And it also questions God and says God's kind of a jerk for giving us these bodies that are going to die in Chappie.